Hello, welcome to BoxPred. Just going to be giving my predictions on some upcoming fights this Saturday, May the 4th. The first fight I'm going to look at is Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. against Sebastian Zbik. This fight's for the WBC middleweight title. And the records show that Chavez Jr. has 42 victories, no losses, 1 draw, around 68% knockout ratio. Sebastian Zbik, 30 victories, no losses, no draws, 33% knockout ratio, so both these guys are unbeaten. I believe the fight is over in California, and my prediction for this fight is going to be a victory for Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. by decision. Now, this is a bit of a strange one for me because neither fighter really excites me. This fight doesn't really excite me. The fact it's for a middleweight title, and that it doesn't really give me any real excitement whatsoever, really. Just sort of shows the state we're in with the difference, the way boxing's going, the different titles, the different belts on offer. I just think in this one, obviously we know that the career of Chavez Jr. has been sort of really protected. He's racked up 42 victories with just that 1 draw, really not fighting, the type of competition somebody with that many fights would have by this stage. And I just feel that they wouldn't have put him in this title fight if they didn't think he was able to do this. They've picked pretty much a weak link in the title chain at middleweight, Sebastian Zbik. Yes, he's unbeaten, but he also has not really fought the type of opposition that a real champion, faces. Now Zbik, for me, his only real way of winning this is by decision. He's only got a 33% knockout ratio, he hasn't got the greatest power. But he's fighting over in California, the States, which is near to Mexico, and where Chavez Jr. is from, where he's got a big fan base, so I'm expecting big support for Chavez Jr. As we know, a lot of judges get swayed by the crowd. I'm personally of the opinion that they should be wearing some sort of sound mufflers. Just watch the action. But I just think that Freddie Roach is going to be who I believe is in the corner of Chavez Jr. is going to have the game plan to win this one. I think Zbik's main weapon is his jab. I do like his jab. He does throw hard, stiff jab, but apart from that, he's a pretty ordinary fighter. I think I see Chavez Jr. as an ordinary fighter, to be honest with you, but I just think he's going to be a bit more active in this one, and I think he's going to be able to pin back Sebastian Zbik in key areas and key stages of this fight. And even if Zbik gets close to a decision, I think it's going to go Chavez Jr.'s way, because Zbik's going to win this fight. He has to be the type of fighter, Zbik, who is going to be more come forward and more aggressive, and he's going to have to really take the fight to Chavez Jr. and really, win clear rounds. And I just don't think he's going to be able to do that. And I think Chavez Jr. is going to get the decision in this one. So I'm going for Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. by decision, and I think he'll become the WBC middleweight champion. Now moving on, Vanez Martirosyan is going to be facing Sal Roman. This is for the WBC semi-final title eliminator and also the vacant WBC silver light middleweight title. I don't really know what to say about that. Martirosyan, 29 victories, no losses, no draws, 62% knockout ratio, so he's unbeaten. Against Roman, who's 34 victories, 8 losses, no draws, 69% knockout ratio. My prediction for this fight is a victory for Martirosyan by stoppage, and I think it's going to be early. I think he's going to get him out there by the 4th round. I think Martirosyan is looking quite sharp in training, from what I've seen. I think he pretty much blitzed Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. in sparring. There was a video up on YouTube, you can check that out. He's looking sharp, and Roman is just an ordinary fighter, really. In his last fight against Michael Medina, I think it was, he got a 2nd round stoppage, but that was basically 2 guys just slugging it out. I think Martirosyan is just more of a boxer. He's going to be able to work from behind the jab early, and I think he's just going to set Sal Roman up, just draw him in, and I think he's going to stop him early. I think it's going to be pretty easy night's work for Martirosyan, and I really think he should start, looking towards fighting some better competition really stepping up now, because 29 victories, unbeaten. You need to start looking at pushing for proper titles against proper opponents. And Saul Roman's just somebody, you fight a good few fights before you fight for the title, really, in my opinion. I just see an easy night's work for Vanez. And just moving on to the last fight, Mikkel Kessler is sort of making a bit of a comeback. He's making a comeback fight against after his layoff against Buadler, Mehdi Buadler. I think that's how you say it. Kessler is 43 victories with just the 2 losses, no draws, around 71% knockout ratio, and Buadler has 22 victories, 3 losses, no draws, and around a 40% knockout ratio. And this is not for any titles; it's just a fight. And my prediction for this is that Kessler is going to get a stoppage victory, and I'm going to go for round 10. Buadler, of all his losses, has not been stopped. He's lost points. He's lost on points. He's lost decisions. But I think Kessler's going to hand him his first stoppage loss. Looking at Buadler, it's an easy comeback fight, the typical comeback sort of opponent that they've chosen for Kessler. He's small, he's slow, he's not really gifted, he's pretty ordinary, and I think Kessler, he's still a top guy in the division. Joe Calzaghe always speaks very highly of him with regards to his opponents that he faced. And then Kessler obviously lost to Andre Ward in his only other loss, and Calzaghe and Ward, 2 very good fighters, 2 very difficult opponents, and that's nothing to be ashamed about. And I think he beat Carl Froch, who is still one of the top guys in the division, possibly a finalist of the Super 6. I just think he's gonna do this. He's gonna really have a good time in this fight. He's gonna find his range. Gonna get back in the ring. It's just gonna be just to get him back and going before he moves on to bigger fights. And I really think Kessler's gonna stop Buadler late on. I think he's gonna wear him down. Kessler's still a very good fighter. I think he's got better technique. He's got better boxing skills than Buadler. And he's not going to get really any trouble. Buadler's only 40% knockout ratio, so he's not going to really. I don't think he's got really much chance of getting a stoppage against Kessler. Kessler's too clever for that. So I'm going for Mikkel Kessler by 10th round stoppage. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. The main fight I'm really looking forward to is obviously Carl Froch and Glenn Johnson in the semi-final of the Super 6. And I picked Carl Froch by decision in that one, but the closer it draws, the closer it gets for me. I really don't know about this one, and it could go either way, but I'm still going for Carl Froch by decision. So there you have it. That's my video. Just a brief prediction on those 3 fights. Giving my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think, if you disagree with me or if you agree with me on any of those fights. And let's look forward to the boxing. This is BoxPred. I'm out.